Hello and welcome. My name is Mark, and today we'll be talking about the International Sommelier Guild's wine tasting of a 2013 Northern Italian Barberesco known as Riveta. This is one of my favorite Northern Italian wines. Extremely reasonable in price, and also has a great depth of flavor and some amazing smells on the nose, as well as it pairs well with great dishes, great Italian dishes. So first we'll go ahead and talk about the International Sommelier Guild's format for tasting wines. First we'll talk about the appearance. Next we'll talk about the nose or the smells. And third we'll talk about the taste or the palate. And through these specific three requirements, you'll be able to discern wines as you try them over and over again and keep them in your repertoire so you're able to figure out what other wines are in a similar flavor profile. So this 2013 Barberesco is first clear in terms of the appearance, very clear. And when we look at the wine, we're going to examine it from the core to the rim, and specifically the color of the core, the intensity of the core is medium to medium minus ruby in color, and the rim almost has a burnt orange tinge to it, a watery burnt orange tinge, which is very indicative of this style of wine from the northern Italian region of Piedmont. This wine, next we're going to talk about the way the wine smells, and specifically as we try this wine, we're going to go ahead and swirl it around in our glass as much as we can. So we're hitting all sides of the wine glass to allow it to aerate, and we'll go ahead and give this a quick smell. It smells great. I really enjoy this wine, and it really opened up a lot since I opened it about 5 minutes ago. So on the nose, first we want to talk about the cleanliness. Does this wine smell clean? And yes, it smells very clean. It doesn't have any off-putting smells or aromas like wet cardboard, wet wool, anything that I wouldn't really want to drink. Next, we're going to talk about the intensity of this wine. How far away from your nose do you have to be to still smell this wine? And for me, it's about here, which is actually quite intense for the small amount of wine I have in my glass. So I would say a medium plus intense notes. Next we'll talk about the development. Is this wine underdeveloped, like underripe fruit? Or is this wine overdeveloped, like maybe a leather, an overripe grape, or overripe raspberry? This wine has good development. It's medium developed in terms of its ripeness. Next we're going to talk about the aroma in the bouquet. This has a very strong aroma of cherry cordial. I get a lot of raspberries. I get a good amount of pink peppercorns, rhubarb. This wine has a tremendous amount of smells to it, very complex smells. I get a hint of some cedar, some leather, and then also a small bit of some tobacco at the end of what I'm smelling here. Next, we'll talk a little bit about the palate and how this wine tastes. Specifically, when we taste the wine, what we'll want to do is swirl it around our taste buds so we're able to access it through our whole mouth. Delicious. So when we talk about the taste of this wine, we need to first discuss its level of sweetness, which this has none. So I would say it's dry, very dry actually. After that we'll talk about its acidity levels. How high of acid is in this wine? How hard does it hit you on the sides of your tongue? How much does it make you salivate? And this wine has a good amount of acid to it, I would say medium plus. Next we'll talk about tannins, where we take our tongue and put it to the roof of our mouth. It's very gritty and almost sandpaper-like. The tannins are quite high, medium plus in this wine. And then finally we'll talk about flavor characteristics and the finish. flavor characteristics on this wine, as I taste it, have a tremendous amount of cranberry, raspberry, I get black cherry, pink peppercorns, a hint of rhubarb. It's actually quite delicious. I enjoy this wine. I enjoy the taste of it. And finally, the length. How long does it persist on your palate? And also, do you feel that warming sensation in your throat? If so, then it's a high body or a full bodied, high alcohol wine. And if it lasts for a long time, it has a very long finish, or the length is quite long. I can still taste this wine, so it has a very long finish, and I do feel a slight warming sensation in my throat. So I would say this is a medium plus alcohol wine. And then finally, as we taste every wine, it's important for us to talk about the quality or the maturity of this wine. This wine is a drink now wine for sure. I feel as if you were to leave this wine in your cellar for another year or two, it would lose a lot of those fruit characteristics that I found enjoyable in this wine. And finally, this is a good quality wine. And the reason why I chose this wine is because this is a $20 bottle of wine in our local wine market, and it's very delicious. I highly suggest it with a veal marsala or a veal scallopini. This would also taste great with a bistecca florentine. It's making me quite hungry, or possibly some pasta with a tomato sauce. Well, I hope you enjoyed our tasting today with the International Sommelier Guild. Thank you.